Welcome to the Park Industries video tutorial on drawing in AlphaCam. We'll be going through drawing examples from a CAD/CAM manual supplied by the Park Industries Training Department. Before we get into drawing, we're going to go over the Cartesian coordinate system. The Cartesian coordinate system is a method in which the location of a point is given by coordinates that represent its distances from perpendicular lines that intersect at a point called the origin. The two perpendicular lines are represented by the x-axis, which goes in the horizontal direction, and the y-axis, which goes in the vertical direction. As x increases, the point moves further right. When x decreases, the point moves further to the left. The same goes for the y-axis. As y increases, the point moves further up. When y decreases, the point moves further down. These four circles represent a different quadrant of the Cartesian coordinate system. The circle in the upper right quadrant is 50 inches positive in x from the origin and 50 inches positive in y from the origin. The lower right circle is located at x positive 50 and y negative 50. The lower left circle is located at x minus 50 and y minus 50. The upper left circle is located at x minus 50 and y positive 50. The upper right quadrant also represents where your CNC table bed is. The front left corner of the table bed is also the same point as the XY origin point. We will now move on to learning how to draw in AlphaCam. If you don't have a training manual, you can download the PDF examples from within this service and training guide section. Example 1. For this example, we will go over how to draw a line and a rectangle. First, we'll draw the large rectangle on the outside, which is 13 feet wide by 8 foot tall. Then we'll draw the box on the inside with the rectangle command, and then show another way with the line command. For this tutorial, we'll be using the Park Industries Quick Access Toolbar whenever possible. This Quick Access Toolbar has most of your commonly used commands you're going to use day to day. To start, we're going to select the rectangle command. From there, look at the bottom of your screen. This is where you're going to always enter your information needed. The rectangle is going to be 13 feet wide by 8 foot tall. So for the x-axis, we're going to give it a starting point at 0, hit enter to move to the y, and enter again for 0 there. For the second corner, which will be the upper right hand corner of the rectangle, it's going to go 13 feet to the right. To achieve 13 feet, we're going to do some math in this first field. Type in 13 asterisk, which is the times symbol, 12, since there's 12 inches in a foot, then hit enter. For y, with this being 8 feet tall, type in 8 asterisk 12, hit enter again. Your rectangle now shows up on your screen. With your roller ball on your mouse, you can zoom in and out with the roller ball. Notice wherever your pointer is, that's where it's going to zoom in and out. If I go to the bottom left corner and I zoom in and out, that's where it goes upon. You will notice by looking at the bottom gray bar, the rectangle command stays active. This works great in this case because we have one more rectangle to draw inside. The next rectangle is going to be 60 inches wide in X by 25.5 inches tall in Y. Since this first 0 is blued out, we can start typing. It'll overwrite the value. The first value we're going to type in is going to be the bottom left corner of the rectangle. If you look at your print, you notice it is up 30 inches in Y and to the right 30 inches in X. So that's what we're going to type in our values. I'll type in 30, then enter, and 30 for Y. Enter. Now the next corner again, which will be the upper right hand corner, we're going to add 60 inches to that 30 value in X. To do this, you can either left click with your mouse to put the cursor active, or you could simply hit the right arrowhead on your keyboard. You'll notice the cursor is now flashing. I'm going to go ahead and type in plus 60, hit enter. Now on Y, I want to add 25.5 inches to the 30 value. So again, I either got to click in there with my cursor and my mouse, or I can right arrowhead again, and I'm going to go plus 25.5, enter. Now that this rectangle is drawn, we can escape out of this command. There are two options. You can either hit escape on your keyboard or right click with your mouse. Another option for moving your screen around is called panning. To do that, hold your rollerball down with your mouse, and you'll notice it drags your screen around. It's not moving the physical XY location of the parts, it's just moving your screen. If we want to do a zoom all to see this part in full size screen, hit the letter Z on your keyboard. It will do a zoom all. We will now show how to draw the second rectangle another way with the line command. To do this, we're going to start by doing the undo button one time to remove the first rectangle. Now we'll go over to the line command. You'll notice the bottom gray bar is asking for information again. We're going to start at X, 30, enter to Y, and we'll enter 30 again, just like the first corner of the rectangle we started previously. The white X signifies the start point of the line. Now we'll add 60 inches to the X value. Y will not change. I want to keep it a straight horizontal line, so I will enter through it. The yellow line shows the first one. The line command stays active. Now we can go up 25.5. I will skip the X axis and I'll go straight to Y. I'm going to left click in there. I'm going to go plus 25.5. Enter. Now we can go straight to the left, X minus again. So click in the X box, minus 60 I'll type, enter through Y. Now a new command, we want to end at the original start point. If you hit the F4 function key on your keyboard, it will close the line to the original start point and finish off the command on the bottom. When the gray bar has no commands shown, it is empty. Example 2. On this exercise, we'll show you how to draw a circle either with a radius or a diameter. Before we get into example 2, we're going to talk about the function keys on your keyboard, or the F keys. The F keys are used on a drawing to snap to specific points on a line, arc, or circle. The pictured F keys sheet is located in the back of any Park Industries CAD/CAM programming manuals. When starting out drawing, it is a good idea to print out this sheet and tape the best sized F keys to fit your corresponding keyboard. To start, we're going to select the circle command, center plus radius. If you notice in the bottom gray bar, it's asking for information again. In this case, what's the size of the radius of the circle? If you look on your print, on the upper right hand corner, the circle is noted with an R3, which means 3-inch radius. So we'll go ahead and type in 3, then hit enter on our keyboard or click OK. If you know the location of the center point of the circle, you can type those coordinates in below here. In this case, we know the first circle is going to be located at 30 inches over in X. I'll enter over, and 30 inches up in Y. Enter again. The circle pops up on the screen. In most cases, we don't know where the XY coordinate is. So to get the next remaining circles, we'll use F keys. The circle size stays the same at 3 inches. We can hit OK. Now the next circle is going to go on the midpoint of the bottom line. You'll notice on your keyboard the F7 key is for middle of. You can hold your cursor anywhere on that line because there is only one midpoint. Once you see that circle pop up on the midpoint, left click once. Now the command stays active still with 3-inch circle in there. We can hit OK again, hit enter on our keyboard. Another choice is to simply left click once in the black drawing area, which is like hitting OK. Now we want to go to the end point of this circle. So F6 on our keyboard, click there. The main thing to note here now is whatever side you're closest to is the side it's going to go to. You do not have to be on the exact endpoint to grab an endpoint of a line or an arc. That circle's complete. We'll do the upper right hand next. I'll left click once in black, F6 on the keyboard, click the line. Next we'll go to the midpoint again, left click once in black, F7 on the keyboard for midpoint, click the line. Last circle, left click once in the black area, F6 for endpoint, click the line. The command is now finished. You can either escape on your keyboard or right click with your mouse. Now we'll show you two more ways that you can put the circles on that rectangle. To start, we'll need to undo 5 times. We'll click the undo button in the upper left corner, so we're left with just one circle. The first way to put the other 5 circles back on here is with the copy command. The copy command is located on the common toolbar right here. You will also notice by clicking the copy command or shows a tooltip, anything in parentheses is a keyboard shortcut. We could also use the letter C on our keyboard to get the copy command active. To start, we're going to click the circle that we're going to copy. It's highlighted blue to signify that it is selected. Now we can either click finish, hit escape on our keyboard as noted in the parentheses, or right click with your mouse. The next thing it's wanting to know is what the base point of the circle is going to be that you're copying. In this case, it's the center of that circle or the end point of the line, which are the same point. So I'm going to click F8 on my keyboard, which is center of. I need to actually select the arc or the circle. Now it's asking a drag to position on the bottom. You could type in the coordinates if they are known, or simply use your F keys. We're going to start with F7, click the line, F6 for end of, click the line, F6 again, click the line on top, F7 for midpoint, and F6 for the last endpoint circle. The next way we're going to draw the 5 circles is by using the array function. However, before we do that, we're going to delete off these 5 circles we just got done drawing. So we'll click on the red X for delete, or hit D on your keyboard. Select the 5 circles. And again, we're going to right click with our mouse, hit finish on the bottom, or escape. We'll need to hit OK for the prompt asking if the 5 geometries are correct. Now, the array function is not on the common use toolbar. We need to go up to the edit ribbon bar, go over to array, and again it's asking us to select what geometry are we going to array. I'm going to click on the circle and right click finish. The number of X required here means how many circles to the right or to the left in the X-axis do we need. In this case we need 3 total, including the original. So I'm going to put 3 in there. Displacement means what's the spacing between the center point of the circles. So we'll go 30 inches. Number in Y, we're going to put in 2 because it's including the original. And for displacement, we're going to go up 25.5 inches. For the order, you can leave it at X bidirectional. I'll hit OK, and all 6 circles now are on our screen. We're finished with the array command, so we can hit finish. Example 3. In this exercise, we're going to go over the trim command. To start, we're going to select trim from our common use toolbar. On the bottom, and now it's asking us for select cutting geometries. What's going to happen here is we're going to select the rectangle. It's going to use these lines to slice the circles. So we'll select the rectangle, hit finish, or again right click. Now it says trim. Pick your geometry or toolpath to trim. Wherever we click is where we're going to get rid of. If I click on the outside of the circle, which I do not want to do, it will get rid of this section from here all the way to there. So what we want to do is select all the circles on the inside of the rectangle. We're done with this part of the trim command. We can right click to finish. Now we got to use trim one more time to get rid of the lines inside of the arcs. We can go up top and select trim here. Another way we could do this is use the spacebar on your keyboard. The spacebar always brings up the previously used command. So now this time it's asking for cutting geometries again. Last time we selected the lines or the rectangle. This time we're going to select all of the arcs. Now we could click all of these, but an easier way is to simply make a window with your left mouse button around all of the part and simply click the rectangle back off to deselect it. That's final for what our trimming geometries are going to be now, or cutting geometries. We'll hit finish. Now we need to click all the lines inside of the arcs. It may break the geometry apart and leave a tail on here, so we still have to click anything extra that's left over. Once that last geometry's trimmed off, we can right click and finish. Example 4. In this exercise, we'll go over the Phillip command. To begin, we'll go to our common use toolbar and select Phillip. The other option would be hit F on your keyboard. The window pops up. First bit of information it needs is wants to know what size fillet it's going to be doing. In this case, it's asking for a radius. We're going to enter in 5. For corners, individual pick two elements means we got to select two geometries. It could be two lines, a line and an arc, or two arcs. All, we'll show you in a bit, is used for join geometries. Bubble fillet will get you kind of what's shown here, the dog bone ear effect. And reverse fillet will give you the inverse radius. We are looking to get a radius to be a blend in this way. We'll show what the reverse fillet does in a bit. So I'm going to leave the 5 and hit OK. Now on the bottom it says pick your first line or arc. I'm going to pick my arc. Whatever arc it's closest to the fillet is where I want to select. Now I'll go over to the line, and it puts a nice smooth 5-inch radius fillet in there. We can go ahead and do the remaining arcs and lines all the way around. Again, clicking one time closest to where the fillet's going to go each time. And the last one. The command is complete, so I can right click, finish. Now we'll show what the reverse fillet is. Before we do that, however, we want to square off one of these corners again. To do that, we'll simply hit undo one time. Now let's go back up top to fillet. We'll leave everything the same except for reverse fillet. We'll check it on. Go ahead and hit OK. Now you notice if I click the arc to the line, the fillet now goes out instead of going in. Now we'll show you how to do the all function for the fillet. This will put all the fillets automatically on this part all the way around without having to click each individual line and arc. To start, we need to undo all the fillets we previously did. So click each time till all fillets are gone. If you go too far, in that case, shows a trimming accident here. I went too far. I can hit redo right next to it. So now we'll go back up to fillet. We'll select all, and we'll select reverse fillet. This first time we do it, it's not going to work, and we're going to show you why. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and select all the geometries and hit finish. But nothing happens. Again, why does not happen? It's because the part's not joined all the way around. So I'll right click out of here, and I'm going to go to the join command, or letter J. I know it's not joined because if I hold my cursor on each individual geometry, they highlight white. So what I'm going to do is window this part. whole works is highlighted. I'll right click Finish. Now to check if the part is joined, I can hit spacebar on my keyboard. The join command comes back up. If I hold my cursor on the part, the whole part should highlight. I'll escape out. Now we'll go back up to Fillet. Everything's set correctly, still 5 and all, and we're not using bubble or reverse this time. I'll hit OK. I'll select the part. Notice the whole works highlights, which means it's joined. Hit Finish. And now I'd put a 5-inch fillet wherever it could all the way around the part. We're done with the fillet command, so we can go ahead and hit Escape. Exercise 5. For this example, we're going to go over the offset command and a refresher of the fillet command. To start, we're going to select the offset command. You could also press the O button on your keyboard to select the hotkey for offset. The box pops up, and the first thing it needs to know is the distance value. We're going to enter 6. Offset to point would be used if we wanted to offset a line. Let's say for this example, this line, if we wanted to offset it down, we don't know the value, but maybe we know it needs to offset to the distance of the midpoint of the line right here. That would be offset to point. Offset on both sides means if I click this line, it'll put a line 6 inches above and 6 inches below. For what? When we use line arc, that means we're just going to offset an individual line or arc from a joined geometry. In this case, this geometry is joined. That's what we want. If we do the geometry bullet, it will offset the whole geometry out or in. A good use for the geometry bullet is for doing sync offsets for an overhang or reveal. We're not going to work with surfaces, so we'll ignore that one. If you do offset as geometry, it will offset the geometry as a green geometry layer versus a purple construction layer. A purple construction layer you cannot apply a tool path to. We'll go ahead and hit OK. I'm going to click the top line. Turns blue, that means it's selected. Go above to give it a direction, and left click once. I will not click and offset this line. We're only going to do one of the top 2 lines. We'll do the right line. Click to the right. Bottom line. Click below. And the left line to the left. At this point, we're done with the offset command. I can right click or escape out. Now we're going to add the radiuses from the lines on each corner. The radius will be used with the fillet function. Just like in the previous example, first thing that pops up, it wants to know what size the radius. We're going to type in 6. We're going to use individual, pick 2 elements. All will not work because you cannot join these lines together, so it must be individual. And again, we'll ignore these 2 bottom checkboxes. I'm going to hit OK. First, I'll show you what not to do when doing a fillet. If I'm going to put the radius in this corner here, you want to click closest to the endpoints where the radius is going to go. If I click the opposite 2 endpoints, it does the inverse fillet. That is incorrect. So I'll go undo. Go back to fillet, and again I'll leave everything the same, keeps the 6 value in there. I'll hit OK. I'll click towards the top of the line and the left side of the line. It automatically fills in what line length is needed with the 6-inch radius. We'll go ahead and go around the part and finish it off. Now, if I wanted to apply a tool path to this outside geometry, I could not do it because it's on the construction layer. If I want to change this from the purple construction layer to the green geometry, there's a command called change. So I'll select that. From means which layer are you changing from. In this case, purple is construction. I'm changing to geometry. Go ahead and hit OK. Now I can make a window around the whole part, or I could simply just click the purple outside. Hit finish. It's now a green geometry. It could now be tool pathed.